Hey, Emma from Spiro here. I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes talking you through our ResearchXL framework. ResearchXL is a research methodology aimed at identifying the key barriers to conversion and the key customer problems within a user experience. ResearchXL is a really strong foundation to any experimentation program, whether you've been testing for years or you've never tested before or anywhere in between. ResearchXL can provide you with a deep understanding of what really matters to your customers and to your on-site users, which can then inform a impactful experimentation program. So perhaps if you're struggling with testing lots of random things and the business is asking you to test loads of random things, ResearchXL can really help you to become more data-driven in your experimentation efforts. It helps prevent that kind of random sporadic testing. It provides you with an alternative if someone in the business says, I want to test this random thing. Well, what about all of these key customer problems, these key barriers to conversion that we have data telling us that we need to solve? And ultimately, it helps to gather that understanding of your users and your customers, which can be, beneficial across the whole business. In terms of how the framework works and what the different elements are, so you can see the sort of spectrum from qual and quant. So we think of that as like the what is happening and then why it's happening. You can see that on the side of the screen. But also within ResearchXL, the other thing we think about is actually the different types of data that we want to gather as well. So, for example, behavioral data from things like analytics, session recordings, heat maps. This is like on-site behavioral data to understand what's happening. Then we want like friction data from usability studies. Where are people like really struggling from a UX or usability perspective? Then things like motivation, like what brought your customers, your users to you in the first place, to your website in the first place. What are their jobs to be done, so to speak? So it's really about kind of filling in all of these different gaps of these different types of data that we have access to. And then identifying the themes, the key themes that come out of these different research methods. So that's what's represented in the middle, in the insights section. It's really about triangulating data points across the different research methods. So what we don't want to do is say, a few people in the usability studies struggled with X, so we should do Y. It's better than completely making it up, but equally what we would be looking for are the much stronger themes. So for example, 90% of people within the usability studies struggled with this thing on this page. Then we see in analytics that page performs particularly poorly, perhaps a high exit rate on a page that we wouldn't expect that to be the case. Then perhaps in session recordings, we identify people, rage clicking on a certain element, for example. So it's again about a kind of filling in the pieces of the puzzle, identifying those kind of key themes across. And that's what that middle section represents. We do something called semantic analysis in the middle that helps bring everything kind of together ultimately. In terms of use cases, we primarily do ResearchXL at the start of a new experimentation program for a new client. That said, and as I said at the beginning, ResearchXL as a methodology can ultimately be kind of picked up and placed on very specific areas of the website, perhaps, also specific areas of the funnel. So for example, the ResearchXL process, or at least a version of it, might be applicable on your email marketing activities. You could run this, to identify opportunities in improving your email marketing, for example. So ResearchXL, in terms of use cases, is very flexible in that sense. But primarily, I would recommend that the first time you do ResearchXL, ideally, is to inform an experimentation program. I hope that was helpful. Please ping me if you have any questions, thoughts, etc. Either on LinkedIn or some other way. The other thing to mention is that I have written a blueprint, and again, I'll link to this somewhere. That blueprint is a step-by-step guide, ultimately, of how to run ResearchXL. So if this is something you think would be beneficial and you want to give it a go yourselves, then you should have everything that you need to go through that process yourself. Thanks. Take care. Bye.